What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about hamstrings for sprinting, the second part where we're addressing the hamstrings in the weight room to keep you healthy during sport. So how do we create this damage resistance that we're looking for in the weight room? Remember, the bicep femoris is the most commonly injured part of the hamstring, and one of the things we need to minimize the damage through managing load spikes, not only in the weight room but when we're like sprinting in the sport. So we need to be careful about how much we're increasing our high intensity sprinting when we're doing it. We want to be strong at length of the muscle, and to build that resilience and robustness, we are going to have to be built through exposure. So that's going to be sprinting, which we'll address in the next one, part 3. But in this, we're addressing it in the weight room at the extreme ranges of the hamstring. So through this, you're going to break the hamstring up, and how you train it. You can train at the proximal attachment, which will be up here, or the distal attachment down here. So when we're looking at that, certain exercises tend to be more dominant towards the proximal attachment, more dominant to the distal attachment. So your proximal dominant hamstring exercises are like GRH, GHDs, barbell RDLs, kettlebell swings, banded kettlebell swings, drop catch RDLs, things like that, which are also going to stress the top of the bicep femoris more. Now when we look at distal, it's that lower portion down here. It's going to be, we're looking at like hamstring curls on the slide board, the sliders, things like that. Nordic curls or Nordic falls. So, and then you have integrated exercises that work from both ends, where you're talking your different variations of razor curls or your progressions to get to a razor curl. Now, how would we want to progress this? Kirwan flats progressions, where you're going submax, where you're going tempo eccentrics, where the goal is getting strong, where you go through a phase of that. Then you go through a supermax phase where you're going bodyweight Nordics, razors, heavy 2-to-1 work, partner resisted, eccentrics. Then you're going high speed eccentrics would be the next phase, banded kettlebell swings, RDL drop catches, and then oscillatory movements, which you've seen on my Movement Mondays, where you're doing very high speed with rapid switching, and you would progress through multiple weeks of those through all of them. The other important thing is we want the exercises need to go through a full range of motion, and we need a mixture of proximal dominant work and distal dominant exercises. So you want to have both programmed in throughout all your phases. With that, you would also you don't want to have high speed sprinting within 36 hours after eccentric work. I would try to make sure that we had at least 48 hours after we did sprinting in the weight room and heavy hamstring work, because I didn't want them to have a heavy, hard day out where they're going high speeds in their sport, and that really helped avoid hamstring injuries, because we knew we're doing it near the end of the workout after they've already done their speed work, which allows them not to have to train when it's highly fatigued and has already been worked. And then your lift should be after your speed work and your field work, preferably, if we have a choice. Sometimes that doesn't work out. And then if you're interested in learning more over the weight room perspective, I'd look into like Lakelon Wilmont's work, Hank Kragensoff, and Kier Winham Flat.